My name is Patsy Hicks, and I'm Director of Education here at the Santa Barbara Museum of Art. Yes, yay for Santa Barbara Museum of Art. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this connection came to be and introduce our wonderful musicians. The work of acclaimed Los Angeles-based artist Janna Ireland, currently on view upstairs, includes her photographic interpretations of the architecture of Paul R. Williams, the renowned 20th century Black architect who designed many of Southern California's iconic buildings. A gifted designer across genres, Williams transformed the face of Los Angeles, including the Beverly Hills Hotel's Polo Lounge, the Ambassador Hotel's Coconut Grove, and the cool jazz corridors of Central Avenue. In 1923, Williams became the first Black member of the American Institute of Architects. In 2017, nearly 40 years after his death, he became the first Black recipient of the AIA Gold Medal. Not limited to any one style, Williams did it all. He designed municipal buildings and private homes, banks, churches, hospitals, university halls. He designed public housing projects and mansions for celebrities like Frank Sinatra and Lucille Ball. As Janna Ireland wrote, "If you've ever spent an afternoon driving around Los Angeles, and who has not, you have seen a Paul Williams building or two." So in a nod to this exceptional architect, those favored night spots, and the music of the jazz greats that were part of the West Coast scene, the equally versatile conductor, composer, arranger, educator, and consummate musician Ted Nash returns to SBMA. And this time, performing as part of a fabulous trio with fellow much-lauded and talented musicians Ben Allison and Steve Cardenas. Forgive me. The trio performs against a background image of Williams' mid-century Los Angeles, the essence of which is captured in the precise and evocative photographs of Janna Ireland and in the music you're about to hear. Please join me in welcoming them once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to be here in this room playing for you. I have such a wonderful association with Patsy Hicks. It goes back more than 15 years ago. We played in this room. I brought a quartet from New York, and we played the music from Portrait in Seven Shades, a piece that I wrote that was based on iconic works of art. And it was such an appropriate place to play that music in this room. And since then, more than 15 years ago, Patsy and I have collaborated on so many projects over the years, a lot of education, a lot of workshops that have been sometimes in collaboration with the Santa Barbara City College. And it's just such a meaningful relationship. And I just want to thank Patsy so much and everybody here at the museum for everything that you do and embrace and continue to create. So thank you. And it's great to meet Mata, the new director of the museum. Thank you for being here. Yeah. And it's so great to have the inspiration of this work, the photography, and of this great architecture, you know, which is like really referencing a period of time that we love and we're going to focus on tonight. And that's the mid-century 40s, 50s, 60s. So we kind of curated a little set of music that embraces the vibe that we get from these works, and also that kind of represent that time. So that first one was a piece called The Train in the River, and it's written by Jimmy Jufrey. And we're going to continue with something by Herbie Nichols, fantastic pianist, that if you haven't checked out his music, you should, because he was one of the most brilliant composers and pianists of any time. Most of his music was composed and recorded in the 50s, 60s, and he only recorded 3 records, and he died very young in his mid-40s. So we recorded, just recently released a record called Tell the Birds I Said Hello, which features all of his music. So we're going to play something from Herbie Nichols. This is called She Insists.
So Ted and I, well, we've known each other since the early 90s. And back then, we formed a small nonprofit organization focused on new music. It was called the Jazz Composers Collective. Our idea was really to draw people's attention to some of the new music being created in the jazz idiom in New York City at the time. And almost everything we did focused on original works. People would bring in charts that they were working on, tunes that they were partially realized, but just wanted a space to be creative, essentially. One of our dear colleagues, Frank Kimbrough, who recently passed away, first brought Herbie Nichols' music to our attention. It was out of the ordinary because it wasn't original music, but it felt like original music because it was totally unplayed. I had never heard it before. I'm not sure how much you had heard, Ted. And Frank started transcribing as much as he could find. And then that kind of began this exhaustive search for his music, reaching out to people who knew him, who played with him back in the day. Once word got out that we were interested in this, people came out of the woodwork to offer music that they had. And one of those was, I got this mysterious call from somebody saying, I'm a relative, I'm a cousin of Herbie Nichols, and I think I have a bunch of his music. I'm like, great, let's get together. Can we meet up tomorrow? And he said, yes, I'll call you back and we'll find a time and a place to meet. and then he didn't call back. That's exactly, you're summarizing exactly how I felt in that moment. 15 years later, Ted gets a call. It's the same guy. At this point, we're just like, there's no way we're letting this person slip away again. And we sent a colleague out immediately on an emergency run to go meet this guy. Yeah, keep him on the phone while Ron runs out. It was basically like that. Anyway, we got this stack of music. And we recognized Herbie Nichols' handwriting immediately. It was authentic. There's no doubt about it. It was a treasure trove of unheard, unrecorded masterpieces, gems of music. And for a musician, I can't tell you how exciting that is to discover new stuff by somebody. It's like a Vermeer that was laying around in the garage somewhere. That's what it felt like. And so the music on this record are some of the things that are from that pile. We're going to continue now with one called The Afterbeat.
Thank you so much. We're going to continue with another one of Herbie Nichols' wonderful compositions. His music is it's so personal, it's so quirky, and you know Thelonious Monk's music. How many people here are familiar with Thelonious Monk? Yeah. We kind of feel that he lived a bit in the shadow of Monk because his music was certainly as interesting and complex and expressive and quirky as Monk's, but because he didn't get the kind of notoriety, it was not as well known. So we're going to continue with what I think is just one of the most unbelievable tunes. It was written how many years ago? 60-something years ago.
It's like mid-50s, maybe
Early 50s, or mid-50s. And this is called Tell the Birds I Said Hello. Yeah, that's the name of our record.
So this is a cooperative group. Normally Steve would take the mic at this, mic at this moment, but I'm going to take over talking about this record. So the way we work this ensemble is essentially we just kind of take turns picking material. Feels very egalitarian. That's the way we like it. And so the first record was focusing a lot on the music of Jim Hall, Jimmy Giuffre, an album entitled Quiet Revolution. That really set the stage for this group. No drums, no phones. And and then the second record we'll talk about in a minute when Ted takes over. Okay, moving on to the third record. This was Steve's pick, and Steve wanted to do the music of Carla Bley. I don't know, anybody? Carla Bley, hands up? Yeah. Right, so another one of the great jazz composers, somebody in the pantheon, we think. She did receive her due in her day, I would say, and widely regarded as one of the greats. Recently passed away, unfortunately, and we were lucky to do this record before she left us, and she got to hear it, and so that meant a lot to us. I think, as I recall, she said, "This is me," when she heard the record. That's me, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I love that. So we're going to play a tune off this record. The tune is called Lawns.
You see how we work together? Thank you so much. Thank you. That track actually has gotten 2 million streams. Carla's music is so beautiful. If you haven't checked her out, check her out. We're going to continue with something which we think is really has this kind of West Coast feel, jazz feel, which is, I think, suggested so much by these images that you see in the museum. This is a Jim Hall tune, and it's called Waltz New. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Back in 2018, we had the opportunity to go down to Cuba and play at the jazz festival down there, and we were also traveled around a little bit in the country. It was Leonard Bernstein's centennial, and we thought it would be really great to do a program of his music, and we chose the music of West Side Story. And I mean, talk about iconic mid-century music. This is an arrangement we did of one of his pieces from that musical, and you'll know it, but we'll just sing along. Yeah. Allison on the bass. Steve Cardenas on the guitar. My name is Ted Nash. We thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I know we don't have much time. Patsy said, you know, sometimes our audiences and the people who come to the museum, the patrons, love to talk and ask questions about things. So this is a bit of a departure from what we normally do. But if you have any questions about anything that we're doing or... I have a question. Could you get off the stage? So if you don't, that's fine. But we just, you know, we thought that'd be nice. Unfortunately, the museum has to be closed by a certain time, and we're not going to have time to play anymore. So we kind of, yeah.
Where's the next gig?
Our Arcata, Humboldt University, right? Humboldt.
Something within 100 miles.
That's not within 100 miles. L.A., but that was a couple days ago. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, what was the female composer's name? Was it Claire?
Carla Bley, B-L-E-Y.
Carla Bley.
Hi, how you doing? Can you hear me? This is not a very loud mic. Sorry about all the sniffling. It's allergies, and then every time I take a solo, the water breaks. So I'm over here, hang on, but I want to play, but you know, anyway. And I even took like a little, you know, anyway. Carla Bley, and she's, she's an NEA jazz master, actually, and just a brilliant composer from the late 50s, early 60s. She wrote more avant-garde type music. And then into the 80s, she actually was kind of experimenting with a little bit of an R&B feeling to her music, which is that Tunes Lawn comes from that period. And it's a hit. It's a hit no matter who plays it, really. It's an amazing tune. I was very lucky to play with her, very fortunate, in two groups, Charlie Hayden's Liberation Music Orchestra and Steve Swallow's Quintet. And so I got to know her. She was just as hilarious as a lot of her writing. And also just an incredibly serious, unbelievable musician, so disciplined and straight shooter, just like told it like it was, you know. She's just quite amazing. We really miss her. Anyway, I just want to talk a little bit because usually I talk before we play her tune, but I was over here dripping, so.
It's kind of my turn, I think. But, you know, the thing is that we started out because Ben was asked to do a record, and we had already started playing as a trio, and we loved playing so much together, and he invited us to be part of that that project. And we did the music of Jim Hall and Jimmy Giuffre, and the next project was the West Side Story, and the record's called Somewhere Else. And then we did Carla Bley's music, and then this is where we kind of start doing it as more of a collaborative. So I think it's just, we're going to decide among ourselves. But the answer is we don't know yet. Sorry, that's a long answer for very little information. Sorry. If you have suggestions. Yeah. We have some with us, so when we get out here, we'll grab them, and we'll be right over here. So yes. So, but anyway, yeah. I know.
Why don't we just say thank you and give you another huge round of applause? How about that?
Ben Allison, Steve Cardenas, Ted Nash, Cardenas, Allison.